when it comes to marking up a product, right? Like the minimum markup is 300%. That's the minimum because of so many things that you got to factor in, all of the expenses and costs when it comes to, operating your actual business. And then for employees, for me, I like that what you said 4 to 1 because I am 100% always looking at what is each person bring. But otherwise, you quickly become a liability and you no longer an asset on the team. You understand me? And it makes no sense for you to pay to keep somebody that's not an actual asset and not bringing you back, a ratio of return. So I like having payroll because the idea is that yes, they should give you 4 to 1 return, which means that the more employees that you have, the more return that you get. Now, for you, I want to question and ask, you know, when it comes to scaling, right, and employees that you do have, do you put on them the responsibility to grow in skill set to take on more operation within the business? You understand me? Or do you go get another person to work alongside you?
So I'm never hiring for one skill set, right? I'm never hiring because you can do one thing. I can do a whole bunch of things, right? So when I'm running the business, I'm looking at who can be multi-talented, right? But also, like, you gotta believe in the brand, right? Like, I need you to believe in the brand before I can even hire you. So I'm gonna ask you, like, are you familiar with the brand? And if you're not, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not even driving.
Right.
So they asked me to put my seatbelt on. I'm sitting still. I'm not going nowhere. I'm in front of my crib waiting for the people to cut the grass. You feel me? So
Yeah.
when I hire, we go through the hiring process. So one of the things I did was took myself out of the hiring process. Right? I took myself out of the hiring process, and what we did.
And
Why did I make that
why you
decision?
make that decision? Why did you find that to be
Because
the best thing
if
for the
I
business?
gotta hire you, it's taking me from doing other things that's going on that I need. Because I pay myself, but we realize this: the business thrives or fails based on my leadership. Right? The business thrives or
That's a fact.
fails based on my leadership. So what I gotta do is I gotta say, okay, here's the foundation for this business. Here's our core values. Here's our mission. Here's our goals, right? And so once we have those things set, now everybody has to buy into that, right? So now the HR knows it. Now my COO, she knows it. Well, my partner, because what I realized is that the guy told us, real talk, if you haven't made 25 to 30 million, you aren't a CEO, nor do you have a COO. You're a founder. You're a business owner.
Mm,
COOs,
talk that.
CFOs, and CEOs cost a lot of money. He was like,
Mm,
it's a lot of fake titles going on because we addicted to the title. So immediately we took that, boom, you're not a CEO, I'm not a CEO, I'm a founder, I'm a business owner.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, if you haven't made 25 to 30
Yeah.
million, why are you calling yourself a CEO? Why do you need a CFO? You haven't made 25 to 30 million? Like, even knowing how to scale your business is important. I was like, ooh, bet, right? So he said something, he was telling me, he was like, so, if you have these goals set, now you can remove yourself from the hiring process, right? Put people in play that know the requirements for the business. And now now that if you have that handbook, you have those goals, that mission statement, you have those things in process, in place, everybody that comes on board should fall into that, and you don't have to micromanage that. Right? And now what happens is the
Yeah.
people who bring those people on, if the people fail to meet those requirements, now it's easy to look at you and tell them, yo, you failed the business in that play. So there's repercussions and consequences behind that. And so now you make everybody accountable on every level. And if everybody is accountable on every level, you don't got to do the tedious things. You can focus on being the visionary and the forward thinker of the business.
You got it. And
It's a high level
that's
conversation right here, man.
you just said a lot of fun. You one thing it'd be I was always taught as a business principle, build your
Yep.
business like you go sell it. You understand me? So therefore, number one, even if you were to sell it, you have everything already in place for the next owner. You understand me? But it also sets it up where, like you talked about, having manuals and things of that nature. That's building your business so that if somebody took the keys today, they know how to operate it. You understand me? And that's important to have those business values and those rules in the culture, right? Like I think that's another thing is being able to create a business culture within your brand. You feel me? I think that what I want to see more within, of course, my business and all businesses across the diaspora is that we start to take these principles and we start to go to different higher levels, right? Because oftentimes all we know how to look at is how much money we made for the month. You feel me? We don't be having none of the core principles actually develop into our business models. And I know this because when I think last time I was talking to a crowd, I'm asking, you feel me, how many people got a business? Everybody raised their hand, but when I asked how many people got a business plan, the same number of hands didn't go up, right? And so when people start to think about scaling and you trying to scale without a plan, it ain't gonna happen because you hoping for luck this month. You understand me? Because you're not actually going with the strategy, right? Like the first time I experienced a magnitude of, intentional scaling is when I sat down and I wrote out every single thing. What products I'm going to have to come, what is going to be the brand, what is the cost, what's the operating cost, what's the marketing, what's going to be the campaigns, every single thing. What are our mission statements? What is our advantages this month? Like what we're going to be faced with. I wrote it all out. Then I talked to the team. And that
Yep.
was the first time we had to scale, right? And we just had a meeting, a huge meeting, and I said we're gonna do this, that, and the third, right? It was a foolproof plan again. We beat it. You understand me? Every goal that we made. Now we at this point now where it's about getting the quality of in-house, so therefore we don't expand beyond, our means or where we at right now. So now we're working on having a much quality infrastructure, right? And a better framework.
Come on, you know I heard it.
You hear that
You know I
framework,
heard
that
it.
big F in it?
That's my shit. Like, I'm gonna be real, but King, like,
You feel me?
I realized that like those things are those frameworks have that's been my word because I'm about to say this right here on this live, right? I'm about to start teaching business. I'm about to
Yeah.
start teaching business because what I
Yeah,
realized
that's
is
the
like,
key.
yep, I've truly been one of the voices for investing. I've truly been one of the voices for the stock market. But when I look at my framework, I realize that
Yeah.
we've really structured a great business.
Mm. And I would imagine so because you are
That's
great
it.
at. So when I look at you, I'm like,
That's
if the
it.
fundamentals, and me, then you taking that same thing that you invest in and find
That's
value in, and you
100%.
building that same
That's
value
like,
out, right? It's funny. You go look at my IG caption. I changed, not my caption, whatever it is at my bio. I changed it today. I said I put business in there. I put Web3 business, mindset, holistic
yep.
wealth, and tech. You understand me? Because those are the only thing I'm gonna focus on. And right now it's about building out those different verticals. I told Rashad and Troy when we was doing the Roots picnic, I say, you know, we can go talk about crypto and stocks and all of that, but people need the fundamentals of business still. Like what makes us successful is our ability still to be able to build business, to be able to brand, to be able to build a culture, to be able to market. Like all of these things are the keys to our success. And people are looking at only how do I invest, but we first gain capital. You understand me? Then we apply that capital, but we know how to build an infrastructure
Yeah.
around who we are. right? And pour the like I've been doing products for a very long time, product design, product development, business development. And so on the back end, you may see a barrage of content, but where is that taking people? It's taking people to my
Yeah,
services, my products, my businesses, right? Otherwise, I would not be able to freely be able to give out
that's a
this much
fact.
value on the front end. You understand? And so you have to have an infrastructure because the idea of Web 2 is you take 0% profit from your content, right? That they get 100% profit. The idea of Web3 is that now you get to own that and you make profit off all your intellectual property. So it's like a rapper, and a rapper, let's say they in a 360 contract, they're not making no money off their music. That's their content. So what they do a tour. They go concerts so they can make money off tickets. They can make money off merch. They can make money off products. So now the every entrepreneur is a content creator, much like a rapper in a bad contract. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
everybody receives from Instagram and social media. You got a contract to make content, but you're not getting no profit off of
Mm-hmm.
it. So you got to build a concert. You got to build. So for me, I seen that early on. And like, if I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
then I got to have products. You understand? And everybody has to have those simple skills of being great at marketing, branding, sales, right? And now you talk about infrastructure and framework, that's a whole nother level. And so we got to take it back to the fundamentals because I feel like as we talk about wealth, we skipping towards, let's we skipping towards the idea of $100 million for some people, at $1 billion or $1 million, and more people need $100,000 blueprints. You understand me? Like that may be your goal for scalability because you work a job that will never give you $100,000. So if you can work your mind and pull it out, then we got you something. Now we can say because the average person only have a certain percentage they can
Yep.
allocate towards wealth in the first place, investment. So that's gonna be based on your earned income. So and then we gonna look at that and be like, all right, what can you actually allocate towards wealth? Because then that's when what we teach you actually goes into,
Mm-hmm.
application and it
So let me
applies.
go ahead. Go ahead.
But if all
I'm about to say, let me.
yeah,
I'm
go
gonna get it. I'm gonna get a people
now
four things right here.
they
Again, I've been just learning.
yeah,
I just been bringing out some of the things I said. So I'm gonna give y'all full.
right.
I'm gonna give people four things that I've learned. Right. That one, this cell phone, this internet is the greatest tool that leveled the playing field. Right. This internet
Super facts.
leveled the playing field for so many people. Right. So I'm gonna give you four
Yeah.
things, and this I ain't never even did this before. This real, I ain't never even did this
Come on with
before.
it
This
then.
real talk. And I've been putting this down, and I'm really about to start teaching people business too. I'm gonna add that to my catalog. I'm gonna start teaching businesses on like real teaching us business. And my concepts are truly like out unorthodox because I'm doing it from a street perspective. But from a street perspective, and because as an investor, all I did was study businesses. So I'm like, damn, like, because I built my business based on how I was studying them. So as an entrepreneur on this, I want everybody to really like check this out. What I'm about to say. This real talk. I don't care if you got a clothing line. I don't care if you got supplements. I don't care if you teaching financial literacy. I don't care if you got a podcast. I don't care if you got a show. I want you to write
Write
this
it down.
down because this is gonna help you out. Watch this. Your four things that you gonna need to use to build your business out on these platforms and using these people platform as leverage for what you got. Watch this. The first thing you're gonna have to do is understand that your voice, watch this, your voice makes just out of 100%, your voice makes up 38% of how people see you. Your voice, right? Your voice. So that's the
Mm.
tone, that's what you speaking, right? Your voice. Everybody say that, your voice, right? Your voice makes up 38%, right? Your voice
Uh,
meaning like how you're projecting to people, what you're saying. So when people hear me, like they understand that my tone shows them my passion. My voice, my tone shows them that I'm confident in my skill set. Right? So your voice makes up 38%, right? Check this out. Your words make up 18%, right? Your words make up 18%. So your voice makes up 38%. Your words make up 18%. Everybody got that? Like, I'm about to tell y'all some game right quick. You can use this, right? You can use this and it's going to help you out so much, right? Your voice, right? And your tone. I mean, your voice and your words, right? The next thing is, let me see, your voice, your words, watch this, your appearance, right? Your appearance makes up 20%, right? Your voice, right? Your words, right? And your appearance, right? You got that? So your voice is how people are hearing you, right? So think about this. If you hear 19 Keys talk, you hear Wall Street Trapper talk, think about the tone in which you hear us talking, right? Think about the tone. So when you hear us talk, how do you hear us? You hear us as what? Confident. You hear us as what? Knowledgeable, right? And then that voice gives you a perception of how you see me, right? Then your words make up 18%. Well, Trap, why is my voice more important than the words? So I'm not saying the words not important because you don't want to be dropping a bunch of F-bombs, right? You're losing that, right? But if you hear Eric Thomas speak, he don't use the most prolific words, but the voice precedes him, right? The voice precedes him.
That's a fact.
Right? So if you hear certain people, it's not so much about the words, the prolific words, it's the voice and the words. Because if I can say, Eric Thomas said something one time, he said, I believe. The way he said I
Yeah.
believe made you believe. And it made you believe in what he said. That wasn't a profound word. Right? And so now think about this. So we said what? The voice, right? And then we said the words, and then we said what? The appearance, right? So now check this out. When you see 19 Keys, right, we see his appearance. His appearance gives us a clean, it gives us a powerful, it gives us a way to perceive him, right? So when we see him in a certain way, you like when you see Keys, you see the crown all the time, right? You see him clean cut, you see him work, and you see him move in a certain way. So you got voice, you got word, you got appearance, right? Those things are truly important. And the next thing is your consistency, right? So one thing you know is the consistency gonna make up the other 24%. Why is that? Because if I show up to you in a certain tone, if I show up to you with right words, and I show up to you with the right appearance, if I do it every day moving forward, I can do one thing. I can build trust with you, right? I can build that trust in you, right? So if I show up to you with the right voice, if I show up to you with the right appearance, if I show up to you with using the right words, and I show up to you every day, I can build trust with you, right? So I want you to think about something. You got a clothing line, right? So it's a reason why you see me wear my stuff every day. That's my appearance, right? It ain't slaggy, it ain't slouchy, it's always the Wall Street Trapper. It's always Wall Street looks like us now, but it's always in the right way. It's always looking good. It's always presentable. When you see Keys with the crowns on, but also he presents himself to you as what? As royalty. So now when you see him, you're going to perceive him as royalty. You're not going to perceive Keys as nothing else. You're not gonna be like, oh man, he talked that God stuff, but when I see him, he ain't talking that. So he can name his show High Level Conversation because it's a representation of what he showed you consistently every day. Right? The reason why I can come up and be like, we trapping, and I can say the word Wall Street Trapper, and you not immediately think about some BS is because I've showed you, one, I spoke to you in a tone, I've used certain words, language, and dialogue, and I've been consistent with you over this time frame since I've seen you. So what you see now is you're able to build trust in me because I have endeared. One of the things about a great business is a great business has predictability. A great business has predictability, not predicting like they're not going to change, but in predicting what they're going to give you in quality for the lifespan of the business. You feel me? So
That's
if
a
you
fact.
if you on here and you looking at a business and you trying to build your business, work on those 4 things. Work on those 4 things. Work on your tone, work on your words, work on your appearance, and work on your consistency. I promise you, those 4 things
That's a
can be the building blocks of your business. I promise you. I promise you that.
so that was dope because I think you give that's a framework, right? So if people want to take those and they apply that as a principle that they filter their actions through. Right now, you got a measurement to be able to grade yourself. So one thing when it comes to, let's say, intentionality, right, and consistency, because I think that this where it really goes deep down to an intentionality. Before I started being 19 keys in representation, I remember I told Amechi, my videographer, this was like maybe 7 years ago. I said, I'm going to build out 19 keys as an entity, and 19 keys will be known globally around this world as this powerful entity. So I wasn't talking about myself. I was talking about the entity of what I was about to build, this whole nother brand, this energy that I was going to put out in the world, right? But what he gave you is a framework to how to bring an entity to life, how to, give it a voice, right? And then the tonality of your voice is a representation to how other people feel once they hear you. Is it inspirational? Is it motivational? Is it confident? All of that is going to project a feeling and it's going to make you feel that same way once they hear you. So when people smile a lot or they laugh while they talking, it's projecting joy. So you feel joy when they're actually listening to you. So now the feeling of their brand is being projected in their voice, and that's the way that you feel about them because that's the way they feel about themselves. That's the tonality of what they project when they speak. So that's the power. So like somebody like an ET, he's going to give you that feeling. And it's like, in the Bible saying beginning of the word. And when they say that Jesus turned water to wine, they was talking about, the way he was speaking to the people, giving them that word. You understand me? Getting drunk off that word. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Because people are water, right? You speak vibrations into people, you change the energy levels that's within them. You understand me? Literally. So when they walk around trapped with that feeling, this is why musicians are so good because you will listen to that frequency over and over and over till it's entrained within you. And they will help you capture a certain emotion for a long period of time. And that's what a mood is, right? So different brands put you in different moods by being able to trap that feeling and capture that. So now, if I want to be in a good mood, I'm going to go to a brand that puts me into a good mood, right? I want to feel strong. I'm gonna go to a brand that makes me feel strong, right? If I want to be smart, I'm gonna go to a brand that makes me feel smart, right? So this is a key to the metaphysical relationship when it comes to brand building. And then, of course, appearance is symbol, right? So like me wearing a crown, you can't tell a symbol no. A symbol has a subconscious communication with you, right? Because we have DNA and our DNA can interpret what those symbols are, but they're more powerful, right, than our interpretation because the symbols have
Mm-hmm.
been around for longer than we have. So the sun, moon, and stars, every time you look up and you see a sun and star or the moon and star connected,
That's
you're going to
facts.
think 19 Keys brand. But that's been entrained in your ancestors' DNA. There's information that's in there forever, right? A swastika is a powerful branding. A rainbow is powerful branding. LGBT and Hitler didn't create those, but they utilize powerful symbols because they know that they could transmute a feeling into
Mm-hmm.
that. You feel me? So when it comes to branding, you have to understand things at a much higher level than the simplification of if I ask, and meaning is another one, right? So if I ask somebody, and this is what I absolutely hate, I ask somebody they got a brand and they got a name for it, and I say, what that mean? They say, well, I don't know, I
No.
just picked it. I'm not
Yeah.
buying it, ever. If it don't have meaning and it don't have a
That's a
story,
fact.
it doesn't have a connection. You understand me? So I don't want it. It don't mean anything. Why am I
That's a
buying
fact.
to something that means nothing? So I have sold more with the story, right, than the design. The design was a plus, but when I had a store, people would come in, they ask me, yo, what does this name mean? What does this symbol mean? And for each one, I had a story. By the time I'm done telling them that story, they felt connected to it and they bought it every time, right? So you have to have a meaning behind every single thing that you do, everything that's in your logo, everything that's in your life, because people will respect it more, it will mean more, and it will foster greater connections where people will feel something about that brand. And once they feel something, they take a sense of ownership over it. When Wall Street says Wall Street looks like us now, I get a connection to that
Yo,
because I know what that means. That means
that was
taking over.
so.
You did?
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. That was everything I've done in my business has always been. This is about to, man. I'm telling y'all, this, God damn, it's a massacre. I'm telling y'all, everything I've done in my business was always to do two things: create emotion and create connection. Right?
Mm.
Like this, I'm telling y'all, this. I'm
Awesome.
talking about to start teaching people business, man, because it's easy once you get it.
Y'all better write these down. Y'all might
I'm
get some
telling you,
fire
man.
triggers real
Watch when
quick.
I do this. When I
You
do this
did?
business masterclass, you'll be like, damn. Everything I did in business, everything I did was to do two things: create emotion and create connection. Right? So I'm gonna be real. You've never, so people have told themselves this. Why did you buy that? Well, I felt like buying it. No, you didn't. You bought that because an emotion was created. You bought that because an emotion was
Mm-hmm.
created. Right? And that emotion triggered a response in you. Right? You've never bought nothing because I just bought it because. No, you didn't. When you saw it, an emotion was created, an experience happened. And from that experience, it triggered you to go in your wallet and buy something. Right? Everything. You never,
That's a fact.
listen to me. We aren't wired in a way just to do things. We not wired that way. Right? We do things because an emotion was felt. Right? When the emotion was felt, that emotion caused you to do one or two things. It caused you to buy, or it caused you to keep your wallet in your pocket. Right? Emotion was caused. Right? So for me, I always said, like, not only do I want to create an emotion, I want to create a connection. Right? And so for me, the connection was, how do I get people who come from what I come from, who's been through what I've been through, to know that they can build wealth? Right? How can I do that? Because a feeling was created in me when I bought my first stock. A feeling was created in me when I started seeing my stocks change my life. A feeling was created in me. That feeling made me stick to it. Right? Y'all with me right here? That feeling made me stick to it. And then when I felt the feeling, that feeling gave me a feeling of empowerment. It gave me a feeling of empowerment. Every time I bought stocks and I saw my money moving, I said, yo, I'm getting wealthier and I'm not doing nothing. Immediately, my mind was triggered because I said, oh, this how you make money. You make money by making your money work for you. Now, I don't got to work 10 and 12 hours a day. So if I work 10 and 12 hours a day and that 20 and 12 hours a day could buy me more time, now I don't mind working more to buy more time because my assets are now going to buy more time for me. And eventually, I'm going to have to start working. So that was a thought process of me investing in the stock market. Right? That's why I believed in it. That's why I loved it. That's why I'm so connected to it, because I realized, damn, if more people did this, more people can experience freedom. Freedom is an acquired taste. So I got to build a connection emotionally with people to make them feel like and make them realize that investing in the stock market can change their life. Because I felt the same thing.
That's a fact.
So when I built my business out, my whole business model was about, yo, I can give away I promise you, I personally feel in my life, when it comes to investing in the stock market, nobody gives more free game than me. But it's because I'm gonna consistently keep creating that feeling. If I can make, it's kind of like somebody being on drugs. Once you get the first taste of it, your mind says, I keep needing that taste. I want that. I want that. So I want, in my business, I want you to be addicted to the feeling that I give you when I create the content. Right? I want you to be addicted to that feeling. Every time you get it, every time you taste my content, I want it to release some type of dopamine.
This is facts. You know, I always tell people to pick two. Pick two. Pick two things that you're going to choose that you want people to feel from you in representation. For me, I want you to feel smarter and happier, right? With everything. So I know by consequence, there's going to be a plethora of other things you go feel. You go feel empowered, you go feel inspired, right? Those are things that's just going to happen as a byproduct, because that's what my vibration is. Powerful, specifically, inspired just because my delivery and what I'm saying. But I want you to actually feel smarter in the sense that, yo, I just did something responsible with my time by listening to 19 Keys content. I want responsible thing I can possibly do, accountability I can hold myself to, is actually go tune in to 19 Keys and cut out the world. Once I get into that pocket where it's like, am I watching too much Netflix? I need to tune in to 19 Keys. What I